Well, hey everybody. You might notice that I'm in my office, but there is a lot more music. It looks like a hybrid with the man layer. That's because the man layer no longer exists back on Record Store Day, which is what I'm going to talk about today. Um, had water in the basement. We had so much heavy rain in the week leading up to it that even though it had stopped raining by Saturday evening, um, I, my basement not flooded, but it got a lot of water in it. And it started creeping up into the man layer. And thank goodness all the records were on wooden shelves. But that also meant that I only had so long to get them out of there before the wood soaked. And so I ended up carrying everything upstairs in totes. I had to disassemble a couple of the shelving units, get the bottom boards outside drying out. I have my CD racks up here as well. So yeah, unfortunately, the sump pump failed, and it took a couple of tries to get it going, of both taking care of the arm for the float and the little trigger, that was sort of seized up. Thank goodness all that took was some WD-40 and a little bit of Scotch-Brite and some grease, and we got things going, but it took me days and days and days. The water kept coming in, and so I just, excuse me, I haven't even had the chance to actually spin every record that I got on Record Store Day, but that's okay. And I hope to explain why. So, Record Store Day started, I believe, 10 years ago, maybe 11. I'm not exactly sure, as a way to promote brick and mortar record stores because they were kind of going the way of the dinosaur for a long time with CDs and then streaming. Um, and it's grown and grown and grown into this sort of corporate monster. I'll admit it. And it's kind of divisive. Some people really like it, some don't. Some of us, like me, are sort of we participate because there is stuff we want, but it's not live or die for a lot of the releases. Although it seems every year lately, both in the spring main record store day and then Black Friday, there's at least one thing where I'm like, I have to have that. And so I'm going to go in alphabetical order. So to sort of set the stage here in West Michigan, it was drizzly and dreary. It wasn't supposed to be. And everybody, we're all sitting there in line. I got in line at about 20 to 7 with my best friend Chris. He's also my part time roommate. He was after a record for his cousin. He had never participated before. That's probably the earliest I lined up ever. Thank goodness for coffee. But we're all looking at our weather apps going, it says it's not raining. And it was. And we got a little damp, but it was a lot of fun. Got into off the record in Grand Haven at 8 o'clock. Benji opened the doors, and I was able to get what I could there, and it was jam packed. I mean, some of the maybe the busiest record store day I've seen, if not pretty darn close. Um, Chris was able to get the record for his cousin, which was really cool. It was the Sleep Token record, which a lot of people were after. Um, but I sort of had to help him navigate, where it would be in the store. So anyway, got what I needed there, got what I could there, and then Third Coast Vinyl up in Muskegon, downtown Muskegon, opened an hour later. So we tootled on up to Muskegon, hopped in line there. I got the rest of what I was after. He was looking for one more thing for actually his cousin's son, and it wasn't there. She was able to get. She lives over in Minnesota somewhere, and was able to get actually another Sleep Token record and the one that her boy was after. So that was pretty cool. And it's just about both stores did a great job of you know involving the community and offering refreshments, and really it was all that Record Store Day was about, not just the releases, but the communal aspect of it. For those of us who are tactile, who have always liked brick and mortar record stores, the indie record stores. Um, and there were people in there participating for the first time, like my friend Chris, and up at Third Coast in front of us, there was a young man, teenager, was there with his grandmother, and he was after uh, Paul had only got one copy of some side project from a heavy metal band, and the kid got it, and it was his first record store day, and I thought that's really cool. So anyway, to the releases for what I got. Um, I haven't spun this copy of it yet. Got Lick My Decals Off Baby by Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band. Um, I've never had a vinyl pressing. I do have the CD, so I have heard this. I haven't listened to this yet, but based on previous Record Store Day Beefheart releases, I know the sound is going to be stellar on this. I had no problem. This was one where I was kind of like, I looked at the list and I kind of overlooked it. And I'm like, I saw a copy. Okay, you know what? Grab it because I know the other ones were great. And I don't listen to the Captain nearly as often as I used to, but once or twice a year I have a Beefheart night and spin his stuff. So I'm excited to be able to add this to the vinyl spinning for that when I do get around to it. Okay, this one's a beast of a record. Okay, um, Ahmad Jamal at the Jazz Showcase live in Chicago. Now, excuse me, this I believe it was Joe Siegel, right? Ran the jazz showcase in Chicago for years and years and years. And his son is helping, yeah, Joe Siegel is helping put together these archival releases based on the tapes his dad had. Um, these were world class shows, often done in very small venues. They were pin drop concerts. If you were talking during the performance, you were hushed or told to take it outside. Uh, Mr. Siegel took his jazz seriously, and so did the musicians. Now, Ahmad Jamal was classically trained, classically inclined. He loved, Beethoven and Mozart as much as he did Duke Ellington, and this shows that. So I just got into his music this year, honestly, for no other reason than there's only so much music. But I kept hearing his name, and then when I read several quotes from Miles Davis about, okay, this guy's the real deal. This is the musician you want to play with. Okay, and I bought two other live albums, a live vinyl and a live CD, and they were great. This one is a monster. I listened to it straight through both albums, and it's musically it's fantastic, but it's a lot. It's a lot for one sitting. He really stretched, the 15 minutes, 13:40, 11:49, 21:19, and there's other longer songs on here too. He and his trio really stretched out. My main complaint about this, and I'm allowed to have one since I spent a fair penny on it, is the mix doesn't showcase to me his drummer and bassist as much as it should. He plays such brilliant, stunning, epic piano pieces, and you get to hear all of that. But it almost drowns out his sidemen, and that's too bad because John Hurt on bass, Frank Gant on drums. I had to look. I remembered, but I forgot. Before holding this up. Um, yeah, they're stellar musicians too. So if you're a fan of Ahmad Jamal, you're going to love this. I don't know if this is the place to start. It's only my third record by him, but I'm glad I picked it up. And of course, limited numbered. Get a load of that. I've never had that before. That you can feel. That's actually an ink pen. So these are, I don't remember, limited pressing 2,850. This is copy number 1772. Um, the liner notes in here are extensive and wonderful. So for a trivia buff like me, someone who loves archival releases, that's it. It is a great release, and the sound is amazing. Like I say, my main complaint, well, really my only one, is the piano is mic'd so far above the drums and bass. But it's a minor complaint given how stellar the performances are. This one I was really excited about. I haven't opened it yet. This is the latest edition of the Motorhead Lost Tapes. This is from December 1995, just a couple of weeks before Lemmy's birthday at the Whiskey A Go Go in Hollywood. Metallica opened the show as the Lemmys. They even wore the bullet belts, the wigs, the bomber shades, the whole deal. Um, I'm excited for this. I've listened to it because it was streaming, and I thought, well, I'm going to play it because the sound quality on the Lost Tapes varies from pretty darn good to, yeah. But the sound on this one, from what I've heard streaming it, is really good. Um, so Lemmy was about to turn 50, and like I said, it was a big to do. Lemmy's 50th birthday live in West Hollywood, Lost Tapes Volume 7. Um, what's exciting to me about this is also the first edition, Volume 1 of the Lost Tapes, was from the Sacrifice Tour, I believe in Brazil. Um, and yeah, I want to say Brazil. And then uh, this now is in Hollywood. Overkill is not on here, and I think the reason is uh, the Lemmys, Motor or Metallica did it during their opening set, their tribute set, and I believe Lemmy was on stage with them for that, and We Are the Road Crew and a couple others. But this does have Born to Raise Hell with Whitfield Crane singing with him as he did on the original version of the Airhead soundtrack. Opens with Ace of Spades, Sex and Death, I'm So Bad Baby, I Don't Care, Over Your Shoulder, Metropolis, Stay Clean, Liar, Burner, Orgasmatron, The Chase is Better Than the Catch, Born to Raise Hell, Sacrifice, Going to Brazil, Killed by Death, Bomber, and Iron Fist. Now, again, even without Overkill, this is a killer. This is a killer show. I'm glad they recorded it. I'm glad they mastered it. I mean, I've been aware of this for 30 years because I remember. I don't even know if YouTube existed in the 90s, but I remember seeing video footage, grainy, grainy video footage of it online back in, probably 96, 97 already. So, anyway, it's a great release. If you can get your hands on it, well worth it. I mean, I would like to think that Motorhead is not the management and everything is not just milking us fans for more releases, but they're putting stuff out that we can enjoy. And with the loss earlier this winter of Phil Campbell on guitar, that means Mickey D's the only one left from this lineup. So God bless him, and rest easy, Lem and Phil, and wherever you're at, I hope you're having a great time. So that was a lot of fun. Now these two, I wanted to wait to make the video until I was able to properly talk about the two John Prine releases for the day. One I got at one record store, one at the other. Um, BBC Session 73 with songs from his first two records. This this kind of ticks me off because this should have been an official live record on Atlantic back when Prine was still signed to them and he could have made some money off them. This is far more representative of what he was doing, it was just he and his guitar, than the studio records that they had him making, which I really like. I enjoy. What's funny, his inflection. Oh, well, you can see the the reflection all bouncing off here. Um, Spanish Pipe Dream, Illegal Smile, Sam Stone, Rocky Mountain Time, Everybody, Your Flag Decal Won't Get You Into Heaven Anymore, Donald and Lydia, Pretty Good, and Hello in there. And it's got, very young John Prine on the back. The sound quality on this is just second to none. Um, if you can get your hands on this, and this was the more easy to come by one from that day. Again, this should have been a live record. What's interesting to me when listening to this is his inflection on a lot of these songs is so Kentucky, even though he was from Maywood, and it's almost like he made a point to show his Kentucky roots on this. Um, great, 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 short but great set. Found Dogs, alternate versions, and unreleased tracks from the Lost Dogs and Mixed Blessings album. Now, that just celebrated its 30th anniversary last year. It was put out as a deluxe package. Um, I didn't buy it. I have the CD. A few years prior, John and Howie Epstein, bass player and producer for Company and the Heartbreakers at the time, produced The Missing Years, which was just a phenomenal record, John's best in a very long time. Um, they tried to capture lightning in a bottle twice, and I just don't think Lost Dogs and Found Blessings, or is it Lost Dogs and Mixed Blessings? Yeah, Lost Dogs and Mixed Blessings is that fantastic of an album. I don't care for the production or the arrangement on a lot of the songs. So to hear the alternate versions of Ain't Hurtin' Nobody, All the Way with You, Lake Marie, Humidity Built the Snowman, and Quit Hollerin' at Me sort of shed a new light on it, and I prefer these to the originals. Now, side B are previously unreleased tracks that were recorded during this also. Hey, Nothing, World Without Love, All for the Love of a Girl, which is a Johnny Horton cover, and it says so right here. I wouldn't have known that on my own. Dogs in Burlington, and My God, Thank You, John. Of all of these, uh, My God, Thank You, John is my favorite. So, but again, as a completist, I picked it up, but as a prime fan, I picked it up. I really like this. This one was harder to come by. And so, this one I know I got at Third Coast because Benji only got one, Paul only got two. And after I just was like, oh, I kind of given up hope. And I just happened to go over there. Sure enough, there was one left, snagged it up. So this one is a lot of fun. The other one, is more classic Prine, and I think my audience would like better. Sixth and final one for the day, Uncle Neil and the Chrome Hearts. I am so enthralled with this. Now, I have to get the full name correct. It is Neil Young and the Chrome Hearts As Time Explodes live album. And this was recorded on the Love Earth tour last year, 2025. And I kept hoping and hoping and hoping, and sure enough, my wish kind of came true. There's a bunch of songs on here. Trying to think. Just a ton. Anyway, um, Ohio is from the Pine Knob show in Clarkston, which is north of Detroit, which was the show I was at. It was a bucket list show. Neil was every bit as good as I had hoped. He was just phenomenal that night. And his band, his old running buddy Spooner Oldham on keys, and then Micah Nelson, Willie's youngest son, on guitar, and a couple of the other members, I believe, from Lucas Nelson and Promise of the Real. So it was a mixture of veterans and younger guys, and the energy was palpable just from the get go. And this is not the entire set list. It's only a double record. What I love about this is it sounds like a live album. I listened to Ohio was the first one I listened to, and actually cracked this open uh, the night of Record Store Day after we thought we had, because Chris was here, after we thought we had the water under control. Turns out we didn't, and the sump pump failed again that night. But we gave up the fight about 10 o'clock. Ohio was the first one I played when I looked through just to see what all cities they were from. It sounds exactly like as when I was there. I can't tell a difference. So that says to me that this is minimum to no overdubs, Neil following his muse, complete raw, honest live record. And this, his voice is still Neil Young. It's a little lower in tone, but gosh, it's this. You know what? This was the clear vinyl record store day edition. I was going to hold out and I was going to wait, until the standard black edition comes out later this spring, early this summer. I didn't. I saw it. It was in my hand before, it was impulse. It was muscle memory at that point, going for this great Neil Young record. Before my mind could say no, next thing I know, I'm lost in a sea of people, and I had this in my hand. And then the next night, Sunday, I listened uh, to the album in its entirety, and it's like reliving the show. It's like I'm there on the lawn with a clear night sky and bright stars above us, and Uncle Neil and the band on stage rocking out. This, if you were at that tour, you're going to listen to this and say, "Oh man, that's exactly how I remember it." And if you weren't, buy it, listen to it, and go see him next time he's on tour. So, anyway, that's my record store day April 2026 haul. I just wanted to touch base, talk about Record Store Day, and give you an update on things at my house. So I hope everybody's doing well. I hope you take care of each other. In the comments below, let me know if you have gotten any of these, what you may have gotten for Record Store Day, if you participate. If you don't, and you want to talk about your dislike or disdain or hatred or ambivalence toward Record Store Day. I love talking music just about in any way, shape, or form. Please be respectful about it. And so I hope everybody's doing all right and take care of yourselves. And we'll talk to you later.